going.
Hey guys!
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
Baseball. Here we go.
This is the podcast. It's called the British Podcast. You know,
Welcome back to another exciting week of Rake Your Position. We're four lifelong friends, love talking baseball and living out the dream from the comfort of our chairs. I'm Aaron, the host.
And I'm Joe, the groundskeeper.
I never really know what he's going to bring to the table, but I'm Jay Lee, the Rover.
And I'm Corey the Statman. And did we ever solve the riddle of what song that was supposed to be?
It hasn't, no.
No, we
good.
still don't
I'm
know.
gonna ask the listeners.
Full disclosure, this is our third time trying to start the pod today, so we're on top of things. But hey, let's jump right into our top 5 rankings. A lot of familiar faces, slightly different order, spoilers, but here we go.
It's a good week.
Let's start the bottom, shall we? We shall. Okay. In 5th place this week, getting 9 total votes, actually tied with the other team ahead of them. But the other team received 4 votes. This team only received 3. Are the Rangers. They received a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th, and I did not vote for them. Because you know who I voted for. Corey, who did I vote for?
I don't even want
The
to say their name.
Diamondbacks. All right. In 4th place, 3 straight weeks now, I believe, in our rankings. Kind of jumping all over the place, but they're still there. Baltimore Orioles. They also got 9 points with a 2nd, a 3rd, and 2 fifths. Moving up to the 3rd place, our fastest risers this week are the Dodgers with 10 points. Dodgers received 4 votes, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th. The Braves holding on by a razor-thin margin to the 2 seed still with 11 points. They received a 2nd, a 3rd, and 2 fourths. And then once again, for the 3rd straight week, the Rays are unanimously the number 1 pick, everybody giving them a 1st place vote. Just a few highlights on some records. Now that we're a little over a month into the season, the records are starting to take some shape here. Tampa's 32-11 with a plus 123 run differential, so staying on top. Braves 26-16 with a plus 61. Dodgers 28-16 with a plus 57. Orioles 27-15 with a plus 30. Rangers 26-16 with a plus 88. And my other vote went to the Diamondbacks. But yes, I put them 5th this week, Corey. You're welcome. Dodgers 4th.
You
The Dodgers held on to 1st place for a whole
You said the run differential of every team that was in the rankings, but not the Diamondbacks.
I didn't write that down. It's
Oh,
plus
okay.
like 20 something. I don't know.
It's not. It's
Yeah, it
not
is.
plus like 20. I promise
Plus
you.
16. I'm looking at it.
Ooh, I'm off by 4. Hey, they're playing Oakland this week though, so hopefully it'll shoot up. Did it go up? I didn't. I guess that got them out of the negative. So what do we got, guys? Rangers, Orioles, Braves, and Rays have been on now for 3 weeks at least. Dodgers snuck on last week and then moved up from 5th to 3rd. So
I keep looking for a reason not to put the Rays first, especially after they had a rough week. They played like 500 ball. But, it's power rankings of the whole season, and they're still pretty much the run differential and record is still easily the best in the league. I've been on the Dodgers bandwagon for a while now, and I had them in 2nd. I think that's a relatively easy case to make them in 2nd. They've won 8 out of their last 10. Like you mentioned, held on the 1st place in the NL West. So I was happy with my picks of 1st and 2nd with those 2 teams.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers are rising, and I think because Aaron, I'm assuming you're the one who put the Braves 2nd still.
I did.
I thought that was a bit of a stretch because it is the power rankings for the whole season, but thinking about like if these teams were to go head to head right now, and you look at who the Braves are throwing out there, they've got Strider, who's good. They've got old man Charlie Morton, and then after that with Fried going on the IL, like I just don't know that they're the 2nd best team.
Here comes defensive Cooney. Engage.
Bryce
you got
Elders lead the National League in ERA.
Okay.
Number 3. So who's
very
Dodgers
very
throwing out there?
proven.
Kershaw and
Urias.
Yes.
okay, so there's 2.
I'm just saying, but they've proven they can win. Like now that Fried went down, he was your best pitcher. I think that bumps them out of the second
And the
spot.
Braves haven't proven they can win? Question mark.
If
Oh.
their best pitcher goes, I'm saying that's the difference between second and not second is whenever your
All right,
best
fair
pitcher
enough.
gets hurt.
Just the Braves
Are
have
we-
got the largest division lead of anybody in a team in a league with 3 other playoff teams supposedly. So
That's a lot
I'll
of
take it.
stipulations to make.
Are we talking like the Braves, like a 3-game series against the Braves? Is that what you're talking about, Corey? Like
Yeah, like if
head to head
if
with someone?
yeah, if any of these teams were to go head to head, who's winning that series?
I think you just tell Spencer Strider and his mustache to go all 3 games.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. Although he's struggling today. Yeah, the Braves have fallen some hard times with rotation and are staying comfortably ahead in the National League East. So I still put them number 2. I did, but I get it. Dodgers are hot. Dodgers are the Dodgers, and we thought they'd be a little bit weaker this year, and
Can't dodge them.
nope, can't dodge them. So yes, I put the Dodgers ahead of the Diamondbacks finally this week.
but
But
still
not
didn't
Ray-
include the Rangers.
No, dude. Okay, I've watched the Rangers this week before I voted for them, but the Rangers don't look good. I'm amazed that they have done what they have. You just watch them play; they don't have much, and so they're gonna be the Pirates very soon. They're gonna fall off pretty quick.
Okay.
But currently they're
We'll see.
not.
I'll write
so
that.
They should
Jared,
probably
can you make a note of that?
be placed.
Yeah. Hey, let me write that. What was that
according
again?
to-
The Rangers are the next Pirates. They're gonna fall off pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have several guys playing above.
Next.
Yeah, I mean, you
Pirates?
look.
Playing, but
Seager's
Corey.
back tonight, but I mean, yeah, Jonah Heim was their best hitter while Seager was gone. Robbie Grossman's hitting the middle of the lineup, and he bounces around everywhere.
He's always hit wherever he's went though.
Not last few years. I mean, he gets on base, but he doesn't drive runs in. And the rotation without DeGrom, I don't know. It's not that quality.
Eovaldi had a score like a almost 30 inning scoreless streak.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
like the guy the Braves blew up was the left-handed rookie. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
what we're
make-
supposed to do to those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
So-
they blew up our left-handed rookie.
and they're competitive with the Braves today.
Hmm.
I just
Yeah, I was wanting to make a stronger case for the Orioles to be like, why are they 4? But then I just saw who they played recently after the Braves, and their only notable team that they actually won the series against was the Rays. So I mean, I guess that's good. But then they also played the Pirates and the Angels. So
Yeah, just recapping that, the Braves had 11 votes, Dodgers had 10, Orioles 9, Rangers 9. So really in our rankings, those 4 teams are very close together
mhm.
as a whole, with the Rays way out in front and nobody else really catching those 4 teams. So I think these will be our 5 teams for at least the next couple of weeks. Just the order might jump around week to week.
I really
Jump
wanted to put the
around.
Twins on, but like the Twins were my first one off. Like I really debated with them and the Orioles, but I don't know. The Orioles playing in that division and the record they have, and then the Twins playing in the Central talked me out of it. So I think the Twins are that. Like the Twins pitching's been unreal.
I'll probably put the Cardinals on next week.
Yeah,
Go for
I thought I might see some Cardinals votes this week.
it. Yeah, I was waiting for it. This was kind of in
if
the
it was a weekly
No.
power ranking, maybe, but
this is kind of the middle of their run. So if they keep it up throughout the next weekend, I bet they sneak on here.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts on those guys?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
how much longer do we think Tampa Bay is going to hold on to number 1?
You know, I think at the beginning of this preseason, none of us voted for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had Jays. Jared, did you have Jays also?
No, I had Jays.
No,
Okay.
I did not. I don't know who I had to begin the season.
we had the Yankees, I think. There were
Yeah.
2
Oh,
Yankees and 2
winning
Jays.
the
So me and
division?
Joe had Jays, yeah.
Yeah, I had the Yankees.
And
then
I
2
said
Yankees,
something
yeah.
pretty dumb too about how I didn't think the Rays
Yeah.
were going to be very good.
Yeah. And Joe did have the Yankees win the World Series. So we were both higher on the Jays than Yankees. The Jays look good, like they're not falling off at all, and Manoa's not really helping yet. So if he figures it out,
Yeah.
that'll take the next level. Orioles, of course, it's all about their young guys performing. So far, they have. And Boston's looked better than we thought.
So yeah, still not
Yeah.
great, but better than we thought.
Yeah.
A lot better
Played
than what I
Cardinals.
thought.
But
It's true.
yeah, I mean the Yankees have fallen back down, like Joe said at the beginning, the glass reference. That's gonna be their Achilles heel all year, I think.
Yes.
Those guys stay healthy.
Mr.
And
Glass.
They yeah.
A side note with Herman, is there suspension, automatic suspension with that, right?
Yeah, 10 games.
Scherzer missed 2 starts, right? So
Yep.
that hurts them even some more. I haven't seen who they'll play, who they'll miss, but that's not good because he was dealing. Now apparently it was aided because this is his second start in 8 starts that there's been questionable things going on.
Yeah.
So-
I loved that the umpire was like, that's the stickiest thing I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah. And then you can see his own handprint on his leg
Yeah.
as he's walking off, like it left residue. So all right. Do you want me to do prospects? Or you want to go into the playoff odds real quick?
Yeah,
while we're talking teams.
It might make more sense to go into the playoff odds.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I wanted to, as a way to kind of talk about teams that aren't in our top 5, because it seems like those are about the same teams every week or very similar. Is look at playoff odds from week to week, and I don't know exactly how this is calculated, but it obviously takes into consideration the divisions the teams are playing in. So just to give you an example, these are as of yesterday, and then a week from Tuesday. So I'm going to pull these numbers every Tuesday. But so the Orioles have a 36% chance to make the playoffs right now, with a very good record. The Cardinals have a 34% chance to make the playoffs, and that's because the Central's bad and the AL East is good. But to highlight kind of some of the biggest movers, good or bad, in the past week, going to start off with some of the guys that went downhill, or the teams that went downhill. The Angels decreased their playoff odds in the past week by 8.7%, to a total of 23.4 now.
Come on, Angels.
I know. It's the worst. But so I mean they had a tough past 3 series. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Rangers, 2 out of 3 to the Astros, and 2 out of 3 to the Guardians. I mean, you could argue that they should have taken 2 out of 3 of all those, but those are borderline, I think, series that could go either way. And you look at it, and I think that the bats, so they lost a game where they scored 8 runs, they lost a game where they scored 4 runs, 6 runs. Like the bats are doing their job. And I just think the pitching that seemed like it might be there with Detmers and Sandoval, Griffin Canning came back. Tyler Anderson had a 2.57 ERA last year, and that's the first year he's had an ERA anywhere near that, and then got paid. So I don't think I expected him to get anywhere near to matching that 2.57, but it makes you sad when you look at that and you see the Angels playoff odds go down by 8.7%.
Yeah, it's basically Ohtani and Sandoval, and then you hope you get 5 innings.
Yeah, because I think both those guys are around 3.2, 3.3 ERA. Detmers is, I think, above 4.
Yeah, looking at it right now, Ohtani 3.23, Sandoval 3.22, then Anderson 5.26, Detmers 5.89, and Canning 6.14, and Suarez 9.62. Those are the guys with at least 6 starts. Those are top 6 starters of their 6-man rotation. So, Joe, get your video ready. We've got our team. Oh, wait, this is the same team. Yeah, this is the team that Joe's been auditioning for.
Yeah, Jared, how quickly can you get loose?
Sure. Now,
Hey,
let's go.
Jake
Get on
Lamb's
the
got a
mound.
0 ERA for the record.
That's
And
true.
Brett Phillips has a 0 ERA. So, position players, man, maybe they just need to swap.
Yeah, and so that's like, I want to bring we talk about the Angels a lot and talk about how we want them to make the playoffs, and then we actually look at the numbers and I'm like, oh, they just lost 10% chance of doing it. And it's the middle of May. There's plenty of opportunity.
But you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, there's a 23.4% chance. Right.
That's actually exactly what he's saying. Yes.
Yeah. I can give you. They have of that 23.4, 15.3 to do the wild card, 8.1 to win the division, 5.8 to clinch a bye, and a perfect 1% chance to win the World Series.
Nice.
But what are the percent chance of retaining Otani?
Probably right now about 23.4.
They get to the playoffs. Actually, it's the one, the World Series. I think
Yeah.
is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And their division too. Like I think Texas will come back down. Houston's been less. Seattle's been less.
Mhm.
Seattle's getting better. They played well lately.
Don't forget Oakland.
Yeah. Okay, don't sleep on
I
them.
think
Hey,
we can
they're
probably forget
there.
about them.
They're there.
Oakland already has a 0% chance of anything.
Okay, this is random trivia. Oakland has scored 173 runs. Houston has scored 184. Seattle scored 188. But like Oakland's almost their offense is almost as good as Houston and Seattle's. That's insane.
And
I was
And
so
then runs
confused.
against.
it's terrible.
We won't
No.
talk about that. The 334.
Because you said random trivia, and
I know
then
I was waiting for a
there wasn't
question.
a question.
Sorry, I didn't know how to phrase the question. My
Random
bad.
fact. Fun fact.
Fun fact for you.
There you go.
But yeah, their runs against is twice just about everybody else in the division.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna keep this
Rabbit
train
hole.
rolling and talk about a couple other movers in the wrong direction with the Mets and the Padres. Both so the Mets playoff odds went down by 11.8%. The Padres playoff odds went down 13%. That being said, the Mets still have a 50.5% chance to make the playoffs, and the Padres still have a 66.1% chance to make the playoffs. And these teams, I'm grouping them together because they have similar kind of financial situations where they just spend a bunch of money and sign a bunch of players. And I think the Mets is a little bit more skewed towards paying pitchers. Padres skewed a little bit more towards paying position players, but they both have, good guys on both sides. The Padres, they're just not getting it done. They went 2-8 the past 10. Michael Wacha
What a
won both.
disappointment.
Well, hey, Michael Wacha, your boy, won both of those games. So that means Snell lost 2 games. Darvish lost, or they lost 2 games in which Snell started, lost 2 games in which Darvish started, lost 2 games in which Joe Musgrove started. They have all these
That's
guys.
amazing.
Yeah, and then Michael Wacha's the one's getting the wins, and it's just
Waka
like,
Waka.
Tatis moved to 3 holes today too. They put Bogarts back in the 1 spot to try to change things up. I haven't seen have they played yet. I haven't seen how it's gone, but
not
So who's in the 2 hole?
they're losing to Kansas City right now. So no, it's not working.
I think they did lose to Kansas City.
Oh yeah, it's finally.
Yeah.
Soto was in the 2 hole, I think.
So
No,
that's
Soto's I don't
Well,
remember.
Machado not hitting either.
Yes. Yeah. So Darvish has lost last 3 starts now because he started tonight.
That's crazy.
So like, and it's, I mean, if you look at these runs for, it's their past. Let's start going up at 3 runs. They scored 4 runs, 4 runs, 0, 2, 2, 3, 3. So what? That's like 9 games. Like they just can't score.
And they don't have their injured list is not long. I know they waited for Tatis to get back, but I mean they have their team and they've had their team.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd have to be frustrating as a Padres fan for sure. High expectations.
Yeah. So then same thing looking at the Mets. Same story pretty much. Their big names aren't getting it done. They are, I think, a little bit more bitten by the injury bug.
Yeah.
They've basically been running a 6-man rotation. So Scherzer, after his suspension, pitched on May 3rd, and the next time he pitched was on May 14th. But they've got
Cy Young pick.
Yeah.
He said he's hurt, but he's not one to go on the IL. But he hasn't said
Yeah.
much about it. So they're being careful.
It seemed like Senga was dealing tonight. I don't know what the score of that game is, but they're playing the Rays too. So it's just, I can't imagine their playoff odds are going to look much better next
They're
week.
losing 5-2 in the ninth.
Okay, so
Tampa's still batting with the guy on.
But they're, again, they spend all this money and they're throwing out Joey Lucchesi, David Peterson, Tyler McGill. Like, I don't know. They've got the money to spend and I don't think they care about the luxury tax. I don't know why they wouldn't have bolstered their depth a little bit more than they did. And I think that's something we've talked about.
Well, they had Quintana too, but then he had whatever he had to take out. He had surgery that wasn't injury related. I don't remember what it was in preseason. So he's out for the first half. But yeah, Verlander got booed. His first start in New York as a Met got booed.
That's New York for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's first start in New York against the Rays. Like, that's not great this year.
Yeah.
A few
to-
things you mentioned on
Yeah.
the Mets. One, I guess we can probably cross out any player with Italian descent from coming on the show, considering what we just did there. And then two, we use the phrase injury bug a lot, and it got me thinking: are there like homer bugs or throw the heat bugs that people get bit by? Do you have any examples of that?
No, I know.
What?
What are
mean-
you confused about, Aaron?
I'm picking up what
Daily,
he's
you
putting
got
down.
me right.
Yeah, I got you.
I got it.
Okay.
I think Amir Garrett had a particular bug the other day. If anybody saw that, where he
Charge
was-
the opposing bench bug.
No, he threw up
Thug
his
bug?
lunch on the
I got
near the mound bug.
Okay. I'll have to look into that and see if there's any.
Sure, yeah, you can be groundskeeper / insectologist.
Okay, I'm sure there's a name for that, but
Probably, or like a Harry Potter class that deals with that.
swish and flick. All right, continue.
Yeah, so then last one I wanted to talk about and give you guys some credit is the biggest mover in the positive direction this week. It's in the agenda, but if somebody would like to, somebody who has a little bit more vesting interest in this, would they like to
The Orlando Magic.
speak on it? Just to
Are you
Go
looking
ahead,
at me?
Jalen.
whoever. You guys watch more than I do.
I mean, it's in the agenda. I mean, kind of what you talked about. It's the pitching seems to be slightly better, but the offense is alive right now. I think what's wild we've talked about the most is like what's so frustrating is having Contreras DH is you take away an at bat from Nolan Gorman, and he has to come in, pinch it, and save the game for you. Like that's so mind boggling to me. But Arenado is on fire right now. Going into today, 5 straight games of the homer. I mean, like I said, Flaherty looked like the Flaherty that the Cardinals fans expected, and I think he expects himself to be. The other game with 7 innings pitched, 10 Ks, things like that. The bullpens seem to hold it down a lot better when they're in the game as well too. But I mean, again, I think 7 and 10 and 7 and 3 in their last 10 games. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes.
You know,
Swept
if you look at their run differential, if you look at their expected wins, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want. The luck seems to be somewhat swinging back to good instead of astronomically terrible. So the offense has always been there somewhat, but the pitching has come around to, you know, give them a chance to stay in games, and the bullpen is, at least Helsley's been lights out for a while now.
They pulled up some stats in one of the games. I think it was last night that quietly. I mean, this is Paul Goldschmidt his whole career, but he's very similar to his last season with his MVP type season on the same track already. So this doesn't really seem like it, I guess, when the team's playing super bad. But so that's good to see.
I think one thing that they were missing at the beginning of the year was the consistency of Nootbaar at the top. I know he was in and out of lineup, slow getting started, but he's played well now that he's been healthy for like the last month, basically.
Yep. Do love me some
Super
new
solid.
Because
So
the
let's
rest of
hope
the outfield was
those
off.
Let's hope those playoff percentages keep going. And somebody mentioned either during this pod or pre-pod that, you know, the NL Central is so weak. It's like just, you know, win 6 out of 10 the rest of the year and you win the division.
Yeah. Well, that's you know, they went up 11.8%. I don't know if I mentioned that between this week and last week, and still only a 34.5% chance to make the playoffs. But like I said, that's equivalent. So that's the 17 and 26 Cardinals have the 34.5% chance to make the playoffs, and alternately the Orioles, who are 27 and 15, have a 36.4%. So it just goes to show that how bad the Central is. In, you know, maybe just the NL is as a whole right now, because I think the Braves in the East had that pretty well locked up, and then after that, like those wild card spots outside of the Braves and really maybe the Dodgers could be any team at this point, and it still could be them.
We know who Cooney thinks is going to get that other wild card.
There's only
Yeah.
5 teams in the National League over 500 right now.
Yeah.
And 6
Pretty
teams.
wild. Yeah.
6 teams make the playoffs. So
That's a much
Somebody's
cleaner
gonna
stat.
sneak-
Yeah.
Somebody's going to sneak in that. You're like, really?
Yeah.
And two of those teams over 500 are the Pirates and Marlins. So do we
I mean,
expect them to stay up there? I think the Marlins will be around 500 all year.
I don't know. So they're 13-1 in one-run games this year. That is not sustainable.
Because their
Look
pitching
at their-
they don't blow leads. If they get the
Look
lead,
at their
they keep
run
it.
differential.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they
If they get the
are-
lead, they keep it, but they get blown out a lot too.
They are pretty
Negative
consistently
54.
as far
They
as
have the worst run differential in the National League. I'm just
Yeah.
now looking at this. So
So
Mhm.
That's crazy
you
that
saying the
they're
Cardinals are unlucky?
500.
The Marlins are the other side of that coin, and they are the luckiest team.
Yeah, they've only scored 150 runs, and they've went 6-4 in the last 10. The next lowest team, I'm just looking here, 172, San Diego, and Washington's at 173.
I guess that begs the question: would you rather be a bird or would you rather be a fish? Right now, I guess you'd rather be a fish.
The Marlins got the big giant sword too, so kind of
That's true.
Yeah, the beak.
pokey. I
think
can
we
poke
called
you
it
a
a
lot.
beak.
Maybe we can set up that
Mascot
that-
round robin.
yeah, but I'm talking about like a legitimate
Like a battle royale.
Marlin and a legitimate Cardinal. And we put them in a
he-
cage.
How do you put a fish in a cage?
Hello, PETA. Yeah, that's Joseph. He said that he
What are
wants animals to fight, not us. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah. So is the cage going to have water in it for the marlin, or is it just putting a fish in a
Yeah.
cage?
No, inch and a half of water.
No. Despite all my
And
rage,
just a normal
I'll
size
check into
cardinal,
the
or-
legalities of it. If it can't happen, it won't
hey,
happen.
you know what the Cardinals did do to help themselves out? They called up some prospects.
They did. Hey, let's talk about some of
Corey.
those. Talk about some of those prospects. So we've been highlighting different prospects over the last couple, actually, pretty much all pod long. We talked about Brandon Pfaadt down in Arizona, and that happened. Then we started talking about Mervis and Morel. That happened. Last week, we started a conversation, like we've been talking about. NL Central's up for grabs. A lot of these teams have loaded farm systems at the top of the minors with a lot of guys that look ready for the bigs. Who's going to pull the trigger first and start using the energy and the talent of their young guys to energize their big league club? And then last week after that, we saw Matt McClain come up for the Reds and take over. Is he playing shortstop or is he playing second? I haven't looked.
I think he's playing shortstop because India,
shortstop.
I think, is staying at second.
Okay. I didn't know what they were doing Barrero. And then, of course, we were like, how are the Cardinals with one of the worst rotations so far, not using Liberatore? And as we're recording this, he just threw 5 shutout innings in his debut this year. So they called up Liberatore as well. But so we just wanted to highlight a couple more of these rookies. It's it's getting late early here, and it's middle of May. So it's time to start calling these guys up and make a run for the NL Central crown. So just some last 10 games numbers here. Ellie Dela Cruz still down in AAA for some reason for the Reds. The last 10 games, he's got a 1.301 OPS. I saw his slugging of 811, and I thought that was his OPS. And I realized, oh no, that's his slugging. 11 Ks to 11 walks in his last 10 games with 3 steals too. So the dude's just a stud. Call him up, put him at third base. Let's stop messing with him. Then I also looked at Marte, which we talked about him. He's in Double-A for them, probably their best overall shortstop. I would assume he'll get called up to Triple-A soon now that McClain's gone, but he's knocking on the door too. Last 10 games in Double-A, 919 OPS, 7 Ks, 3 walks, 2 steals. McClain is 2 for 8 so far in the bigs. They got Encarnacion Strand playing third base in the minors. He'd probably stay there for a little bit, but 860 OPS. Striking out a lot, so maybe he's not quite ready. But then 2 pitchers that we hadn't talked about too much. Corey mentioned Andrew Abbott, 3 pods ago. He's in AAA now, has made 4 starts with a 4.50 ERA. So decent start.
Does he
Yeah,
have I was just wondering if he had both his hands.
Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
Any relation to Jim Abbott?
I think we covered this when I talked about Andrew Abbott before.
I will continue to ask that every time I hear that name.
Moving on to Brandon Williamson. They called up a different lefty to the bigs. 5 2/3 in his debut, only 1 earned. So they've got another starter knock on the door, and those infield prospects, all of them could be called up at any minute. They're all hitting well. Cardinals, of course, called up Liebertor, but we mentioned Mason Wynn last week. So his last 10 games, he's got a slash at 273, 347, 477. So he's heating up. 8 Ks to 5 walks. He has 3 homers in his last 10 games. And we know he can play defense. But Paul DeYoung and Tommy Edman and Norland Gorman are all playing pretty well. So Wynn's
2-run bomb out of DeYoung.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right.
Wynn's probably stuck down, but it's nice to know you got him when DeYoung cools off. And then the Pirates, we mentioned Indy Rodriguez. His last 10 games in AAA, he's got an over 800 OPS, 4 strikeouts to 9 walks. You like to see that. 4 steals. The guy's a catcher and an outfielder. Their other catcher, Henry Davis, their AA stats and the last 10 game stats was messed up. So in 26 games for Henry Davis in AA, he's got a 1.124 OPS. Only 2 more strikeouts than walks. And then Nick Gonzalez, middle infielder, his stats were messed up too on MLB.com. But in AAA, in 29 games, he's got 835 OPS. So I think very soon, probably the next one to get called up, I'm guessing it's Ellie De La Cruz. I don't know what's holding them back from putting him at third base for the Reds and moving forward. But I'm guessing the Pirates call up one of those catchers very soon to try to keep them afloat because they're dropping a couple games every week in the division over the last 2 weeks. So any thoughts on any of those guys or any other central prospects that might be knocking on the door that we haven't mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, with De La Cruz, he continues to just crush the ball. And I know you didn't mention any sort of exit velos there, but he is still like at least every other day hitting 115 miles an hour plus. Yeah, I mean, it seems like he can hit. I mean, if the Reds think they got a chance,
they're 5.5 games out.
I know. I mean, everybody, like we just said, everybody's got a chance in the Central, but and I think the Pirates calling up one of their catchers is inevitable. And again, why not do it now? Fun thing, Pirates also, led the division this year, have the first pick in this year's upcoming draft. So, they've got a lot of exciting young guys. It'll be interesting because you do see kind of the transition from college to majors happening a little bit quicker, maybe now. Like Neto just came out. Like maybe they can find a guy that helps in a year. That's a little off topic, but I thought I'd remember that, and I think it'll be fun to see the Pirates continue to have these fun young guys.
Maybe this happens, but I wonder why the press does not press like the GMs and stuff more on in baseball. Let me think here real quick. Corey, you can probably help me out on this.
I'm busy doing something else. Sorry.
It feels like the most stat driven game. Like in some sports, you have guys that you don't see any stats, but they still contribute. Baseball is very much like stats.
No, I would agree.
So when guys are doing what the stats that you just read off, I would like to know, what their thought process is of, oh no, we're gonna keep him down there.
Yeah.
It wasn't some of the like arbitration rules and stuff changed recently to get rid of some of that? Well, we got to wait till it's 60 games in, so we don't have to pay him for a year.
Yeah, if the guy
Makes
gets
me
any
scratch
kind
my
of
head.
voting for awards, he gets awarded the full year no matter when he came up. So you might as well use him for the full year if he's going to get it anyway.
And it also had me thinking about, I know the Cardinals dealt with this when they had La Russa as a coach, and it seems like some of that thinking is leaving, but I feel like I still see, I gotta stick with my veteran. I know he's batting 190, but he's
Press pass. Because you're the press.
Oh,
now.
I got one. Man, I got a lot of roles. I'm a biologist. I'm a journalist. That sense of sticking with the guy who's been there for too long, and we still see that. And again, just when a guy has an 811 slugging in AAA, you got to give him a shot.
Yeah, usually it's like the guy in the bigs is making a bunch of money, so we're trying to get value out of him, like what the Braves have done with Ozuna. Now it's slowly paying off. Now it looks like, but The Reds don't have that. Like Joey Votto's the only one getting paid, and none of these guys are going to take his spot. When he's back, he can go back to first base. No big deal.
Mhm.
And then if Ellie De La Cruz comes up to play third, they can still call Marte up to play short in AAA, and still have Marte and Strand in AAA, also ready to go. But I don't know. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't think it'll be long before De La Cruz comes up.
Everybody's always chasing that AAA ring.
Yeah.
You gotta stack that team.
I'm chasing it. I don't know about anybody else.
That's true.
Side note, guys, I clicked on the Pirates website to go look at some stats. The front page is Rich Hill highlights from today. It's a Rich
Sticking
Hill
with the old guy.
ground ball from Miggy Cabrera to first base. Rich Hill covering first, and it's Rich Hill Miggy running to first base
Wow.
to try to get the
That's
out
like
or try to
a-
get the hit.
A
It's
giraffe and the
hilarious.
hippopotamus.
Dude, Rich Hill barely beats him, and they're just
Well-
smiling at each other.
Because Rich Hill doesn't even break to begin with. Because it's a ball that's pretty well towards second base. So Rich
Yeah.
Hill, it hits, and Rich Hill doesn't break. And then he sees that the first baseman dove and got it, and then he takes off. And man, Miggy, it hurt my body.
Yeah, it hurts me to watch it, Brad. That's hilarious. That had nothing to do with the agenda. I just happened to see that.
No, that's fun, but we got some other fun stuff to talk about too.
Yeah, it gives a real quick update on Mervis. How did Mervis? I know Mervis hit a homer.
Okay, Aaron. That was just a
Corey's been killing it with the segue.
He
that was
was.
a great
I-
segue.
and he's
And you're
like,
just
I'm
like, no,
sorry.
wait a second. Let's go back
What
and
a-
talk about
I'm
what
so
a-
sorry.
What a
I didn't hear you
buzzkill.
talk about him, so I just sorry.
I
Talk
know.
about a momentum killer.
Yeah.
He's
He's
Matt
fine.
Mervis, the Cubs.
He's
Yes,
fine.
Cubs.
Back to you. No.
Okay.
It's been a tough start. He hit a homer is 110 exit velo, more of a line drive, kind of down the line. So you got him off the schneid there as far as the home run count. Other than that, it's been a pretty slow start for him. I think before that homer, his WRC plus was 43, and then after the homer, it was 78. So it's not small sample size, obviously. If a homer can
Nice sound effects there.
bump you up that much, but I've been
Well, that
impressed with the
sounds
defense.
like fun.
Yeah, thanks. Just I'll stop talking, I guess.
Real quick before we move on, Cooney, you made a comment. I don't remember who the prospect was, but you said he was knocking on the door. Is that a literal door or a figurative one?
It's the manager GM's door up in Cincy.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ellie De La Cruz, and they're scared to open it because he's so big. They're afraid of
Hola.
his punch velocity.
But, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
Maybe we
it's a
can-
literal door. Somebody's
Alright,
going to answer it so that he can get in the lineup tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for clearing that up, Jay Lee.
Yep.
Is definitely cleared up for everyone at home, I hope. Yikes. I mean, this is kind of a segue into once a super talented top prospect into now a seasoned veteran and still probably one of my favorite players to watch. Nope,
And-
not you, Cooney.
And punch velocity.
And
Yeah.
punch velocity. Yes, so it's
The
good
pod
segue
that
here.
makes up
The
stats.
accuracy is a little low.
Yeah, I mean, not good accuracy, but
Joe
velocity
leads
high.
the pod world in punch velocity.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Bryce Harper a little bit. So, when looking at the agenda, that was what Corey handed to me. And so I'm like, all right, I'll think of some things. I know he's been in the headlines recently, but what I'm talking about first is just kind of an appreciation and kind of remarkable for the injury that he had and him already being back. Like them talking about at the beginning of the season, like maybe All-Star break, maybe. And he came back 159 days after. It was Tommy John, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is unheard of. I mean, probably a little bit more probable for a person who can DH, of course, but I mean, still remarkable nonetheless. But just in the little sample size that he's been back, he's been in 12 games, got 15 hits, 3 doubles, 2 homers. I threw in this because it's kind of cool. You don't see this too often from big power hitters. Little 1 stolen base there, 6 walks. He's batting 319, got a 511 slug and a 907 OPS. So, I mean, coming back from that injury and just kind of being the 2-time MVP that he is kind of insane. I mean, I know it's only 12 games, but pretty awesome to see that and kind of bring some life back to Philly. So anything on that before I jump into the next part of this?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it because Buster Olney was talking about the fastest recoveries. And he just barely beat Carl Crawford, which I remember when Carl Crawford came back, how fast it was. But at that point, not a lot of position players had done it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that, but yeah, it's amazing. Like Harper's been in the East his whole career, a nemesis of the Braves. I hate him because he always hit home runs against the Braves, and run his mouth before running your mouth was normal at the bigs, but now everybody kind of does it, and it's more acceptable, and it's a way of firing up your team. And what he's done for Philly already, I mean, I thought there's no way he's gonna be worth that contract, but I think he's already been worth it. So lots of respect for him.
Yeah. Do you? I can't find it here, but there was a fun stat where, like, Bryce Harper, the amount of games in between Bryce Harper hitting a home run was either it was right around the amount of games it took for between Athletics starting pitchers getting a win.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
isn't
so
it?
Yeah,
like the
I
fact
saw
that you
that.
can come back that quickly, and again, I mean, it's twofold. The Athletics are awful, but also starting pitchers get wins eventually, sometime. Like, so the fact that Bryce Harper can go basically approximately the same amount of time in between hitting home runs and getting Tommy John surgery as a Major League Baseball team and their starting pitchers getting a win, like, bravo, Mr. Harper.
Mhm.
And I know he's, or at least for me and Cooney, he's a little bit younger than us, but just that he's been playing so long, it feels like like that's the player we grew up with. I know it's kind of weird to say, but he's been on the radar since he's been like what 16 or 17 playing
Mhm.
JUCO, and it's just still cool to see him. There's so many people like that flame out or do something stupid, but it's cool to see him keep on keeping on.
Mhm.
Yeah, was the guy we expected him to be.
Yeah, most
Yeah,
definitely.
he was who
The
we
other
thought he
thing,
was.
he is who we thought he was.
I wonder if he thinks he is who he
Who he
thought he
thought he was.
was.
Who we
Yeah.
thought that he was. Yeah. I don't know. Well, Bryce, this was an appreciation post, so maybe you can come on the pod.
The one
I
guy that
know.
wants to come on here.
Yeah, that's a big get though. That's a big
Yeah,
fish.
that's the
I'm-
big one. Anyway,
I'm tweeting him
the
right
other
now.
the other piece that I got is
Real quick.
this incident. Yeah, go ahead.
You said you were reading off his stats. You said he had a 5'11" slug. Is that height? Is that weight? Or is that like slugging percentage?
That's it's a
Joseph's
slug,
hungry,
kind
so.
of like the whatever slug type, whatever class that belongs
Yeah,
to.
are they like a monopod or
Yeah, I
something?
don't know. I'm gonna need some
Yeah,
help on
I
that
think
one.
that's
But
right.
that's when he's a 5'11" slug. Yeah, that's so.
No, height or weight?
He is the slug, so it's not height or weight.
If you had
It's
511 of those things, that's what Bryce Harper is equivalent to.
yeah, so not height or weight.
I like it.
So
That
take
ma-
that out.
That actually makes more sense than the height and the weight. So
Yep.
thank-
Yep. We're on the same page now.
yep.
All right, cool. So the other thing that he made some headway against the Rockies here. Get a little insight to that situation here because I didn't know too much about it. I just saw him being Bryce and storming the field, but apparently the pitcher, his last name is Bird. I don't have his first name unless if you guys got it.
I did. Jake Bird.
Jake Bird.
That was the
What an awesome name. Struck out. I think it was Scott on the Phillies. Again, not great with first names.
Bryson Stott.
Stott. Thank you. And struck him out. Was a little bit amped up. Then looked into the Phillies dugout. Said a few choice words. Clapped his glove a few times. Your boy Bryce didn't like that. Came sprinting onto the field. And got ejected. And the quote that Bryce had, he's like, "I'm all for emotion." He's like, "But once you point it like towards the team or the entire dugout," he said, "That's where I take exception to that." And so he's like, then I just kind of ran onto the field. And he goes, "I know JT and some other people were behind me, so I don't know. I guess for me, I kind of see what Bryce is saying. I'm all for the emotion and what to, but if you kind of make it more than just that in the moment, then I can kind of see where you're going to go out there and stick up for your teams. But any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah. So Jake Bird, first off,
True.
nobody's ever heard of him.
Correct.
He
'Cause I sure
threw
haven't.
20 pitches, 8 of which were strikes. So good job. Not something I think you need to be excited about. I mean, I guess maybe if you're in a jam and you get out of it, you should be excited about that. But I don't know that you getting out of the jam was technically your doing. If you throw 8 pitches for strikes, he walked 2 batters in that particular inning. But I did see like he briefly engaged Bryce and then pretty quickly exited
Sprinted the other way,
scene left. And this just like looking at this Phillies team as well, as far as teams you might get in a scrap with.
This is a future pod segment.
I was
right?
gonna say that'd be a good
Yeah.
bit there. Teams you do and don't want to fight.
Royal
Yeah.
Rumble edition.
I'm not sure I'm picking them. Schwarber will destroy you. I think JT's
That's it. Nobody else, but
Oh
okay.
yeah, I mean, I think JT's a guy that can get in a tussle here. Brandon Marsh is just scary. So
yeah,
that's
you
something.
touch him and you're instantly wet. So.
Yeah, you're like a greased pig, or he is.
Wow. We lost Brandon Marsh now. Golly,
if we could get Bryce Harper and lose Brandon Marsh, that's a fair trade.
Okay, I didn't know.
But
like
Bryce Harper defends his teammates. We're going to invite him on here. He's going to remember that Corey called me a grease pig, and Corey's going to get pummeled.
But
and then
hey,
have to find
if
a
it's
new
for the
stat
pod,
man.
I'm with it. Sorry, Corey.
no. The only thing I would end with is just the whole time I'm like, while Bryce is doing his thing, I'm just like looking at his arm, like, okay, what's gonna happen to his elbow? Somebody gonna twist his arm, or because I can't imagine it is. I mean, I guess he's probably putting a bunch of tension and force on it when he swings, because his swing is just violent.
Vicious.
Yeah. So maybe it's all good. Yes. Sorry, Brandon, we love you. I apologize to Dan Vogelbach last week too, and you guys told me it was too late. So
no,
Pick
I
on all
stand
the
by
guys
everything.
that would romp our faces if we actually saw them in person.
I stand by everything against Brandon Marsh.
For everybody out there, Corey is a stout 5'7", 142 and a half.
Dang, he's shrinking, boys.
yeah.
I was listening to
I don't know.
I was listening to the Cardinals game on the radio, and their announcer, Ricky Horton, who I think is radio, maybe it's TV, I don't know, but he made the point of it wasn't this specific incident, but batters frequently will like show up. I'll put that in quotes because that doesn't mean what I mean, but batters will showboat all the time, but it seems like the minute a pitcher does it, and I know it was directed at the dugout, but it seems like people get way more upset when a pitcher kind of does it back. And he also said that, being a former pitcher himself, so there was a little back and forth between
Corey,
the
what's the
announcers.
dude for Cleveland that goes crazy every strikeout?
James Karinchak.
Karinchak? I didn't know how to say it.
I don't know if that's right, but it's close enough.
You got to watch that guy's highlights.
I mean, he is basically
Yeah.
Ricky Vaughn in real life.
Dude, he is. It's insane. He just yells at every batter he gets out.
Well, but it's all like, I don't think he yells at them. Like, he is almost talking to himself. Like,
he's talking to some imaginary friends too.
Yeah, well, I think that like he is yelling to himself, and like he's out of his mind.
He's intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we mean as a compliment. Don't yell at us.
Yeah. James, come on. Yeah, I bet you'd be interesting to talk to.
That's true. Probably doesn't know we're real. It's
probably not. Maybe that's good for us.
Voices in his head.
Yeah. Now he's gone, though.
No, he's not. His conscience. Come on here.
But yeah, I mean,
Speaking of 2 strikes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, keep going.
No. I was gonna go there. Yeah. Give us your this week's edition of coaching with the groundskeeper. We'll work on the name.
That's good. Coaching
Please,
from the cheap
stingers.
seats.
Somebody make us some stingers for all these things.
So I believe I was watching a Reds game, probably against Cardinals. Actually, I don't think it was against Cardinals, but one observation I had made was, I don't remember who the batter was. Corey's gone.
Great. Watching the game, don't know who's playing. There's a batter. Don't know who he was.
Yep, you're right so far.
They threw a ball, they swung.
Baseball. Field goal.
One thing I did notice was this particular batter, the the swing approach never changed from pitch to pitch, whether it was strike one, ball one, definitely strike two. So I thought of a little exercise to do here, you could say. We'll look at some stats here in a second, but I wanted to throw it out to the guys of the segments mostly on your two strike approach and what you went with there. I was wondering what you guys, if anything, you did hit the two buttons.
To
Playing and you playing MLB The Show or Cooney?
I was reminding you before we get that far.
Oh yeah, okay. I got you. I was wondering what y'all's two strike approach was. Jay Lee, did you hear what we're talking about here? If you want to chime in on your what your two strike approach would be or was.
Curtain call.
Mine's quick because you have to be able to hit to have a 2-strike approach. So
I knew that was coming. And it's so funny.
you gotta be in the batter's box for that to happen. So
So
Jared's
Jay
still
didn't get
working
the
on the
opportunity to have
zero
one.
strike approach.
Yeah.
Corey?
Jared's working on the approach.
He hasn't found the batter's box yet. He's
No,
still-
I mean, I would like to say that I had one, but I think I'd be lying to myself. It's always you pump yourself up like, okay, let's not strike out, but I struck out a lot. So it must have been we're looking. So it was a lot of just watching, I think was my 2-strike approach if I had to kind of boil it down.
Hoping for balls.
But in the batter's box, at least, I was watching from the batter's box. So it was a little bit closer.
Did you ever notice anything as a catcher from the batter?
I mean, yeah,
perspective?
there were guys that you'd see him choke up a little bit here or there. I don't know that too much changed over that. Like I know in the majors, like you do see some guys kind of choke up and then make some adjustments with either their leg kick or their stance or something to get a little bit quicker hands to the ball, just really contact oriented. But with the level of competition we were playing against, I don't think too many people did much more than choke up.
Aaron?
I growing up never had power. So I think I pretty much batted with a 2-strike approach my entire career from the get-go, contact and speed, get on base. I know we've talked about this and we really need to try to do this. And Coach Schultz, if you're listening, maybe help us find our career stats. I honestly think I probably had 3 or 4 walks per strikeout in my career. Like I hardly ever struck out. That was the one thing I could do was get on base well.
You real quick, leadoff walk by Helsley to start the 9th. So I just want to put my fist through both my screens, but I won't. Cooney, you made the comment. Correct me if I'm wrong. You told me this one time. You said you guessed every pitch when you batted.
Oh yeah, I guessed a lot. Yeah.
And that was odd to me because that's something I had never did. Which I mean, I wasn't a very good hitter either, or I mean, I was not a very good hitter, so maybe I should have. Some things I thought of. I remember my dad always told me to scoot up in the box, take away the breaking ball. I don't know if that's any statistical data that would do that. I would choke up on the bat, and I think that helped me make at least foul the ball off and maybe not K. I'm not saying I'd rip a base hit out of that, but and then I just looked up a few random stats just to throw some more of that out there. Juan Soto's currently leading in walks, followed by Matt Olson, Ian Adley from Baltimore. It's always nice. He has more walks than strikeouts. Wow.
Super beast.
Young hitter. Somebody's MVP pick for the season.
Yep.
And then jumping over to K's, Matt Olson's leading in K's. Teoscar Hernandez has 62 Ks and 6 walks. Wowzers. James Outman, Dodgers. He's been playing well for them though. Big reason they're winning some games.
Grand slam today, man.
Yeah. And then kind of your normal guys that are up there. I also had this pulled up last week. We had some videographer troubles last week and we didn't get to do this. He's been reprimanded and
You-
seems to be doing better.
We fired the intern.
Yeah. Taking applications though, it's unpaid
Yeah.
and strenuous.
You
So
had
I
to
had
read-
I had baseball savant. I had like K percentages, I had walk percentages, but when I pulled that up today, it said Sean Murphy walked 87% of the time. So whatever I pulled up was obviously incorrect. So
I think you're reading the stat wrong.
There might have been a decimal point there you missed.
In baseball savant, is that what you said?
anyway.
I like it. I like 87.
He's probably in
over
the 87th
8.7.
percentile in walk
That would make more sense.
because
No.
he does walk a lot.
Baseball
I'm gonna
savant's
trust-
not for everybybody, Joe.
I'm gonna trust Skip on this one.
Not for
A lot of
80%,
groundskeepers.
numbers.
Not for
80%,
groundskeepers.
87% of the time it works every time. I'm with
Yeah.
Skip on this one.
But then I did look up some two strike numbers. Amazingly, there's a website called, let me see what it's called real quick. Oh, I just saved their logo to my desktop. That's probably not what I want.
This is why you shouldn't go to baseball savant.
I'm not on Baseball Savant. They didn't have it. Not that I could find anyway. It's just called hostagestats.com. Anyway, it's up to date. So your guys with your best batting average with 2 strikes, Emmanuel Rivera from Cooney's favorite, well, I guess I'll say second favorite team, Arizona Diamondbacks. Freddie Freeman up there. Rivera's batting 370 with 2 strikes, 295 out of Freeman. That's NL. The AL numbers, not quite as kind. Kevin Kiermaier, you guys know him
Kiermaier.
from Kiermaier from Toronto.
He's in Toronto now.
Jonah
Long time
Heim.
Ray. He's having a
they're-
career year though. That's not his normal stats. Like he's crushing it.
Yeah, and a little more digging on that. You guys will probably know the answer to this, but who's the only person in history with like qualified at bats to bat over 300 with 2 strikes? It's
Tony
Only
Gwynn.
person in history. I say
think
Tony
the
Gwynn.
obvious. Yeah, I think the obvious is Tony Gwynn.
It's
Only
Tony
guy.
Gwynn.
Good job, Jared.
No, it's actually not Tony Gwynn. Sorry.
Good job, Jaylee. It's actually Chris Davis.
It's
but-
Fernando Vino.
Chris Davis. Yikes.
And then I also looked at the strikeout numbers, which everybody knows strikeouts have like skyrocketed, but first time MLB hit 20,000 Ks in a season. Take a random guess, Aaron.
Sorry. I was reading some. Say it again. I found our.
Wow.
I
I'm
found our
I'm glad this is a
Where's that?
podcast for our friends.
I'm so
and
sorry.
this-
I was on our stats here. Go for it.
So last year there was 40,000 strikeouts. What
Okay.
year do you think we first hit 20,000?
Oh gosh. 2005.
1969. Wow. Okay. Corey, what year?
Nailed it.
Corey, what year do you think we hit 30,000 strikeouts?
1988.
1998. So it took a little while. And ever since 2017, outside of COVID, we've been at 40,000 Ks or more.
Oh, hey, yeah, 1969.
Good
For
job,
the
Jared.
20,000, that's actually correct. Yeah.
Yeah, well, everyone else got a year, and I guess I don't know. I was just waiting.
I'm sorry,
I don't
Jaylee.
know.
I'm
No, it's all
sorry.
good. I'll just threw that out there for you, the folks at home.
So to wrap this segment up, from what I observed during the games and a few other games, I just went to the field myself and kind of did the approach that I was seeing from some of the big leaguers, and on certain pitches, you know, you can adjust to certain pitches, to certain swings. So I'll pull this up real quick. So this is me at the diamond. I didn't go on the diamond. It's a semi-professional field, so I didn't want to mess up everything they got going on. But so this was like the fastball in was the first pitch that made me think of this. I'm like, why did he not take a little bit off his swing? And his swing it was just like this. Let me play that one more time for you. I mean, it was just like out of this world, right?
Again,
So
for the
then,
listeners, he's got a Cardinals jersey on, a very small Dodgers helmet that falls off after the swing, and slacks. Not sure.
You could say that.
Okay, I will.
What size bat is that?
That bat is at a minimum 90 years old. And it's probably like I don't know, a 32, 28. It's not very heavy. So then I just took down a bunch of I watched so much film to get this down, and this was like fastball. That was fastball up. That's fastball down. That was slider away, splitter down, breaking ball up, breaking ball away, two seam in, change up down, change up away, change up, and that's just kind of what I was seeing from hitters two strike approach.
Sure. I have a follow-up. If you were to have made contact there, how far do you think that ball would have went?
If I take what I used to do, so averaging like 415, subtract some percentage points due to age and decline.
Sure.
I put on a few LBs, so that would probably even it back out to probably around 415.
Yeah. I bet the jujitsu helps you out a little bit. Might add
It
a feet or
does.
a foot or two.
Gets you get your hips through as quick as I can.
Sure.
You get some power behind it.
Yeah. 415 was about kind of where I was thinking as well, just kind of based on the form that I saw.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it is annoying seeing guys just take the biggest hacks ever with two strikes. Like Anthony Rizzo, watched him for a long time. He was a big choke up guy with two strikes, and I mean, he still struck out quite a bit, but it's nice to see that he tried, and he could be a guy that would just pop a little blooper the other way. I was actually listening to Ian Happ talk about basically the first BP group when it was Schwarber, Chris Bryant, Rizzo, and like whenever, because that was when Happ came up, was when those guys were kind of in their prime with the Cubs, and he would get so, I don't know if it was annoyed or impressed with Rizzo, because Rizzo would come up and he just hit like little bloopers over shortstop for like his whole first round, and then the next round he just hit like 450-foot bombs, and so it's just kind of nice to see those guys with that back control, and they do, at least give an effort to not just swing out of their shoes and strike out almost automatically with two strikes. But
Do you think we ever see a swing back to the contact era?
I mean, Luis Ariz is doing
Luis
pretty
Ariz, yeah.
good this year.
Soto does it too, really.
Yeah.
Votto always has. There's a few guys that do it, which I don't know why more don't. But
They don't get
Yeah.
paid.
It's true.
But all right, we ready to move on to predictions, guys?
Oh yeah.
All right. To recap last week,
Oh, I want
Joe.
to hear it.
Joe the groundskeeper with
Actually-
the second no loss record.
oh,
I didn't even know,
wow.
but I just had a good feeling.
We did have a tie. The Yankees and Yays, the Yankees and Rays split their series.
Yays.
So Joe ended up going 4-0-1. Jared and Aaron each went 2-2-1, and I again drove the caboose and went 1-3-1.
My strategy is just to wait till Corey picks a team, and then I'm gonna pick the opposite.
Well, at some point I think I want to switch up the order because I always go first.
We can switch it up. I'll go first.
That's okay. We'll go backwards. But
I will say, I'll say if, but I think we really know it's when I get a call to GM a team, I'll be leaving the podcast. But
I don't
until
know
then,
that
I'm here.
I don't know that picking
he'll be here a
series-
while.
I don't know that picking series winners is high on GM qualifications.
But it is on the list.
Yeah, sure. It's the last thing on the desirables. Ability to predict outcomes of games.
That's
Anyway,
Pete Rose's list,
that's true.
and he got
to
kicked out. So let's not-
the season long standings, Joe is at 17-11-2. Jared in second at 15-13-2.
Nice job,
Aaron-
Jaylee.
Aaron perfectly average at 14-14-2. And I am at 12-16-2. And after having said all that, I think I'm gonna just take the ties out from here on because I think we're all always gonna be the same. Unless someone picks a split again.
it's a good strat I hear.
Yeah. Anyway, going
I
to
gonna
our
take any beef from the last place team.
going to our predictions for this week. The first series we're gonna look at is the Diamondbacks at Pirates. And Aaron, you volunteered to go first.
I think you probably
Bring it
all
on.
know my love affair with the Diamondbacks is going to continue through this weekend, and I will take the D-backs.
Joe?
Yeah, I'll take the D-backs for sure. I've not been high on the Pirates at all.
My goal in life is to get one of you guys to vote D-backs with me before the end of the season.
I just
They-
did I not
they
just
have
say
to
that?
play
I
good.
meant for the Rakings.
Oh, okay.
Jared.
Diamondbacks.
All right. Well, I'm taking the Pirates.
Okay, we're good, guys. We're good.
Yeah. I liked. I'm a Mitch Keller Cy Young guy.
Is he gonna
So
pitch all 3 games?
maybe. I mean, Johan Oviedo. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously easily going to beat Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's not having that good of a year, right? I haven't looked. At
He
the
had a
stats.
bird today. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah.
No, I
That Gallen
didn't.
had a bird warming up at the outfield.
There's
That's
something
good on
going on
YouTube.
with those Diamondback pitchers.
Yeah, both
Um,
Diamondbacks. What in the world?
The next series we'll look at is Orioles at Rays. Interesting NL East matchup.
Jays, but okay.
Oh, yeah, right. Jays. I just called them the Yays. That was the Rays.
The Yays, the Yankees. This is probably my favorite matchup that we're doing out of the 5. Got to see the Braves play both these teams the last 2 weekends, and they're just a lot of fun. I think the Braves overall just threw
We're not talking about the
I
Braves.
know. I'm saying the Jays dominated the Braves, but I think it was more the Braves playing bad, where the O's actually were playing good. So I'm going Baltimore over Jays.
Joe, would you like to somehow sneak the Cardinals into this?
I'm saying I got to
Well,
watch
they
both
did.
teams. That's relevant.
They did just win, so picked up another game on Milwaukee. That's
Braves are
good.
trying to win.
And I'm gonna go with Toronto. They're gonna use their veteran savvy and take the series.
Jay Lee?
Baltimore.
All right. I'm going to take the Blue Jays.
Ooh, splitsies.
Yeah, I like the Orioles. Manoa at some point has to pitch better than he has. That it will be my
Cold
favorite.
hands don't have to get hot.
I know, but that's my favorite pitching matchup probably out of all the series we picked is that Saturday game, Manoa versus Grayson.
That'd be fun. It could be
but-
fun. It could be real ugly.
Yeah, that's every game, man. It's baseball.
Corey, history question, kind of on the Old Dominion line. Baltimore, were they bought the less before something happened in the city, or they've just always been that?
I bet if I had to guess, it'll be explained in their City Connects. They'll probably I think they did less with the design of their jerseys than they normally do if the leaks are what they are actually.
Okay. And
Um,
real quick shout out to MLB. We would wear those and sponsor those on the show if you
Yes.
need our addresses to send us all.
If
all
you need
jerseys.
help promoting these massive million people metropolitan cities where your baseball clubs are,
Yeah. But
we'll wear
we,
those City Connect shirts to help you out.
we'll give you our address, but we can't start the podcast if our names on our Zoom show are wrong. Anyway, next
Give away our
series,
secrets.
yeah. Next series is Guardians at Mets, two teams that maybe aren't performing as well as they would have liked to, which is, most teams maybe besides the Rays. Aaron?
The average rotation in this series of the Mets is 45 years old, and the Guardians is 28. So I'm going to go Guardians. I'm also
you-
not a fan of the Mets, but the Mets are just a mess. They've lost 16 of their last 22 games with $350 million payroll. I don't care who's hurt. You should not lose
this-
16 games like that.
Don't kill me if this is a stupid question, but how many times have Verlander and Scherzer went back to back this year?
This will be the third time.
I can
Well,
third
no,
time.
because Scherzer missed one, so it'll be the second then.
Yeah.
When Verlander's first start, I think followed Scherzer.
they as far as
Yeah.
back-to-back games, it hasn't happened.
Oh,
No,
okay. I
once.
thought Scherzer. Yeah, I thought they did once. Yes, it'll be second.
Sorry, missed it. They lost both those games to the Tigers.
Tigers, yeah.
Yeah.
Pauses.
They lit up Scherzer, and Verlander gave up 2, but the Mets got shut out.
So who are you taking, Joe?
I think they get 2 good starts out of those guys.
All
How's
right.
Carrasco doing this year?
Not good.
I think this is his first or second start, right?
So I'll go. Let me look at it one more time.
It's pretty
Yeah,
rude.
I'll go Mets.
Oh, so he started 3 games and then got hurt. So this is his first
Man,
game
what's in the
back.
water in New York?
Oh my
I don't-
gosh, 6-5, bottom of the ninth, lead off 3-0 count. Come on, Iglesias.
We're trying to do a podcast here.
I
Right?
don't care.
Jared.
Mets.
All right. Twins at Angels. Aaron.
Angels.
Yeah, right.
Detmers, come on, man. You're due.
Joe.
But I think even there,
Oh.
Otani wins one.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
their
that's-
guys just win one.
That seems to be the story of the Angel season.
But Sandoval's just as good as Otani, ERA wise. So
Twins are also good pitching.
who's Louis Varland?
Uh,
I looked him up.
he came
It's
from.
Armstrong's
guy.
brother.
I don't know who he is. He's an American professional baseball pitcher for the Minnesota Twins of the Major League Baseball. He made his MLB debut in 2022.
Thanks, WikiVate.
He's from North High School in St. Paul, Minnesota. So hometown guy.
Hometowner, huh? No,
Yeah,
no.
it's in Minnesota. As much as I want the Angels to win, I'm just not that high on them. So I'll go Twins.
All right. Jaylee,
Angels.
you didn't do the. You can't see my arms. You didn't do the Angels in the outfield. Made me sad. All right, last series to wrap up our weekend predictions. A little curveball here for you. Marlins at Giants, because we need to talk about some teams we don't always talk about.
Marlins. I've been a little bit higher on the Marlins all podcasts, and they got good matchups, I think, in the rotation.
Okay. Joe?
Give a quick shout out to another friend we have with the last name of Cooney, who's a Giants fan. And their rotation is, I mean, at least the top three guys that are going to be going has been pretty good. So I'm going to go Giants.
We're not related.
No relation. Probably some relation, but no relation.
Jaylee?
He's red Irish, I'm black Irish. Our ancestors probably
Your grandcestors?
ancestors probably brothers back in the 1600s fighting over a sheep.
Predicting the future here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jaylee.
Marlins.
Marlins? I'm taking the Giants. We got a split there as well. The Giants are an interesting team this year. Just called up Casey Schmidt. Hard name to say for me. Been doing pretty well. But we've got 3 for the Diamondbacks, 1 for the Pirates, split on Orioles Blue Jays. Actually, split on the last 4. Split on Guardians Mets, split on Twins at Angels, split on Marlins at Giants. So we will check back in next week and see if I can maybe have a winning record. That's all I ask.
Are the splits the same 2 people every time, or is it all mixed together?
It's all mixed together.
Awesome. Cool. I like it.
So that wraps up predictions.
All righty,
the
guys. Well, you can catch us later on in the week too with round 3 of our war game, and we'll be back together next week for another episode of Rake Your Position. Until then, I guess all that's left is the reminder, which is don't forget to rake
Your
your position.
Position.